For 46 years, my story was told by the river, the Juniata River in Pennsylvania. It whispered it to the stones, and a stonemason found me there on an embankment on June 20th, 1979. But my story didn't start there. And for so long, no one knew my name. They called me Perry County Jane Doe, the girl with the turquoise jewelry. But my name is Doris Joanne Girtz. I want to tell you my story, not just the end of it, but the parts that made me, the parts the investigation pieced together long after I was gone. They said I was white, with blonde or light brown hair, maybe straight, maybe curly, sitting on my shoulders. I was young, somewhere between 15 and 30, but I was 23, just 23 years old. They couldn't quite decide how tall I was, anywhere from 5'2" to 5'9". It's funny, the things that become mysteries. I took care of myself. I had good dental care. A back tooth was taken out a few years before, and I had fillings. One of my molars hadn't even erupted yet. I was still growing in a way, and I had a story written on my bones, a healed fracture on my 9th rib, a past injury, already mended. I was a survivor, even before whatever happened to me. But the truest clues to who I was weren't just in my body. They were in what I wore, what I cherished. I loved the Southwest, the turquoise and silver, the deep, rich colors. When they found me, I was wearing 2 beautiful sterling silver rings with turquoise stones. One of them also had pieces of onyx. The experts said they were likely made by Navajo or Zuni artists. It wasn't just fashion, it was a connection, a piece of a place I loved. I had a turquoise necklace and earrings to match, and a chain bracelet on my right wrist. My clothes told a story, too. A tan jacket over a white shirt and a blue tank top. Blue slacks, made of knitted wool, with little strands of red thread running through them. I had on green and white socks, and white shoes. Boots, really. With elegant silver buckles. The things I carried, the things I wore, they pointed west. They suggested I had spent time in Arizona or New Mexico, maybe just before I died. And later, science would tell an even deeper story. That when I was a young girl, an adolescent, my body grew in the Midwest, or maybe in southern Canada, near the Great Lakes. My bones held the water of the Great Lakes before I ever saw the banks of the Juniata. They estimate I died in the autumn of 1978. My body was left there, between the eastbound lanes of Route 22, 322, and the river in Watts Township, Perry County. By the time I was found, I was mostly skeleton. The elements and time had taken their toll. No cause of death could ever be determined, but the authorities knew. They always said it was suspicious. They knew I hadn't just lain down to sleep by that river. For decades, I was the only unidentified decedent in all of Perry County. A singular, lingering mystery. I was buried, then exhumed in 2008 when they reopened my case, hoping new science could give me back my name. They took my DNA. They made records of my teeth. So many people tried to find me. Artists gave me a face. First a sketch in 2009, then a 3D rendering in 2013, created from a CT scan of my skull. They digitally built my face, layer by layer, muscle and skin, trying to look into the eyes of the girl with the turquoise rings. They compared me to about 60 missing girls, 60 families hoping, and 60 times the answer was no. It wasn't them. It was me. The break finally came in September of 2023. A company called Othram said they would use genetic genealogy to find my family, to find me. They would use my DNA to build a family tree and find the branch where I belonged. And then, on June 20th, 2025, exactly 46 years to the day after I was found, they announced my name, Doris Joanne Girtz. My identity, my personhood, was formally returned to me. In July 2025, the Perry County coroner, Robert Ressler, stood before the world and said my name. The mystery of who I am is solved. But the rest of my story, how I came to be on that riverbank in the autumn of 1978, that chapter is still waiting to be written. My story is no longer just told by the river. Now it's told by my name, Doris.